that was a fun weekend in college football. Probably more for someone like me than for others, but hey, whatever. We talk about the Ohio State game and what the hell happened against Michigan. We talk about Clemson and how they Clemson against South Carolina and how Miami just played with fire all season. And now they're outside of the playoff picture. So there is that. We talk about kind of where things stand with the future of Clemson with Dabo, with the future of Ohio State with Ryan Day, and where these teams need to go. But if you like what we're doing, please don't forget to like and subscribe to us. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Blue Sky, we're on YouTube. Wherever you find your social media, wherever you find your podcast, please enjoy, follow us, enjoy this crazy pirate ship. Welcome to the number one local sports podcast in Central Florida. This is Sandlot Sports. I am Adam Capperson. I'm here with Dorian Cody.
Hello, Governor.
And BJ Thomas.
Fuck them Hurricanes.
Oh, it's been a wild weekend. Let's just get to it. So, Dorian, I'm disappointed in you. We had a Sandlot Sports get together on Saturday, and you decided to give us the finger and not show up.
It was the whole finger too.
Nah,
I drove 85 miles an hour to get there on the 429.
No, I promise you that wasn't intentional. I had all three of my Rugrats this weekend, so I was pulled everywhere.
You could have brought them.
But as far as the game, like I even said it on our last segment that I wasn't like Syracuse scared me because Syracuse was what they were like 7-3, I think they were 7-3, right? And again, our defense is suspect. I mean, we give up. I think our defense gave up the third most in the fourth quarter, second half in like college football. So I'm not shocked that Syracuse won at all. Eventually we were going to get exposed. Georgia Tech exposed us. Running the ball is the way that you like beat the Hurricanes. Having a solid run game. It don't even have to be a good running game. Just good enough to be able to get 4.5 yards carried.
Well, Kyle McCord beat y'all, so if you can't stop the run and you can't stop the pass, you can't stop shit.
Well, I do have a point with that. So, do you know where Colin McCord ranks as far as passing yards per game in college football?
Like top 5, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, oh yeah. The number one passer in college football in yards per game is Kyle McCord at Syracuse, at the 9-3 Syracuse Orange.
Where'd he come from?
Oh, he came from Ohio State.
What didn't they do Saturday?
They chose not to throw the ball.
Yeah, I'm confused. I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Should they have kept him or?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So it depends on who you ask. As to what Ohio State was thinking. It was either they realized that Will Howard just didn't have it, it was not accurate, or they took several insults personally and wanted to prove just how tough they were.
Yeah, but rivalry games are tough anyway. So even less like you knew or you had the idea to know that Michigan was going to come in like, hey man, we might not have the season we wanted, but we're gonna do everything we can to whoop Ohio State's ass. Like they were playing with house money. People didn't expect us to win anyway, right?
Well, there is a difference between want to, thinking you can, and actually freaking do it. Okay? Yeah. Michigan was down the second best defensive back in the nation, only behind Travis Hunter. Mm-hmm. They were down the best tight end in the nation. Okay, they had 2 players left that will be drafted. That was Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant in the middle of their defensive line. Everyone else.
Let's try them.
Yeah, let's go at them.
Let's go straight at them. And so would you agree that decision making was stupid?
Yes.
Now, who ultimately was the hands-on person in charge of that decision?
Well, it depends on who you ask. It was
hands-on. Not overseer, hands-on.
It was either the offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly.
That's the hands-on guy.
Yes.
That's the day-to-day guy.
And so, as we have seen, Chip Kelly's offense is stuck about 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And,
Ooh.
they have probably the top freshman at wide receiver.
Oh yeah. Hands down.
Yeah.
So don't throw to him. Whatever you do, whatever you do, don't throw to him.
Who's, matched up against a backup cornerback.
Run right into the best part of Michigan.
Right.
Repeatedly, repeatedly. And Adam and I were sitting there talking to each other like, this isn't working.
Right.
This is not, it's not working.
Right.
Yeah, like I literally went, I'm like, are they going to realize that this doesn't work? And Pedro goes, no, they should keep running. And I'm like,
I said, yeah,
it's
no,
not working.
no, just let it happen. Just let it happen. Don't tell them. Just let it happen.
Yeah. But didn't we say before that Chip Kelly has this arrogance about him to where he thinks
He's an
that
asshole.
yeah.
He's an asshole. He thinks that he's one of those people, and I'm sure you guys have run into him on your day-to-day life, that think they know best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know best. It's just
And it was a combination of Chip Kelly and Ryan Day taking insults that were thrown their way from people who were not involved in that game on Saturday. Personally. I mean, Lou Holtz is probably 1,800 years old. Called
what
Ryan Day.
Harbaugh said 4 years ago.
Yeah. And both of them called Ryan Day soft. So he went out to prove that they're not soft.
Instead of winning the game.
Instead of just doing what you needed to do to win.
Yeah.
What do you? I mean, like Chip Kelly has to take a large responsibility in this, but number one is Ryan Day.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So BJ pointed out that it was the offensive coordinator that decided, I'm going to run the ball up the middle. Okay. Now that was a dumbass decision. Another dumbass decision was by the head coach. There was under 2 minutes left. Coming out of a timeout, Michigan had 3rd and 2 from the Ohio State 5. Tie game in the 4th quarter. Okay. Coming out of a timeout that Ohio State had just called to stop the game. They ran 12 men onto the field because they were confused about the Michigan formation. The grand offensive strategy of Michigan, I'm going to run the ball up the middle.
Yeah.
They were confused on that, sent the wrong people out there. Ryan Day realized it, called timeout. There was a problem with that scenario, and I called it, and I even went to BJ. I'm like, what? You cannot call consecutive timeouts.
I mean, you can.
You can't. Well, technically, the way the rule is, it is not a penalty unless the ref actually gives you the timeout.
You can call it. You can call it, but they called it and awarded it, and that was the problem.
Yeah, so they didn't actually award the timeout. I went back and listened to it. They didn't award the timeout, but because he was such a freaking lunatic on the sidelines, he's jumping on the sidelines when the play was going to start, they had to stop the play.
So they had to charge him with it.
Yep, and then so they actually called 12 men on the field. Gave Michigan a free first down, blew another minute off the clock. Ohio State got the ball back with like 40 seconds left, down by 3.
I don't want to tell you. It seems like you got what you asked for.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I was telling a friend of mine today that Ohio State does not have a day problem. They have a date problem. That date is December 9th. The transfer portal opens December 9th. That is the first Monday after the regular season ends. It runs for 30 days. Okay, to like January 8th, I believe. Now, Ohio State probably has a game December 20th, the first round of the playoffs. They're going to need a coach for that game. Okay? If they fire Day now, it is going to be an absolute Florida State implosion because all the players are going to leave. Starting with the transfer portal, and the committee does not want that. Okay? So if they fire Day, they're not making the playoffs. If they keep Day on staff, and he coaches the 20th, and currently they're projected to play Tennessee in the first round of the playoffs, and they lose, and then fire Day, guess what? The transfer portal starts at a different time for them. So it'll be a week and a half after everyone else. and which means it'll be extended for a week and a half after everyone else. And you know, Kirby Smart, Dabo
Mhm.
Sweeney, um, even Caleb DeBoer are looking at Jeremiah Smith rubbing their hands like the bird man.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I read initially Jeremiah Smith was looking at, I want to say Florida.
I
He
mean,
was,
I don't know who's looking at Florida because so many people have jumped ship in the past 7, 8 days. It's been nuts.
yeah.
yeah. No, no, no. No. Before he went to Ohio State, he was highly considered
Oh,
going to Florida, which they could have. Can you imagine Jeremiah Smith and DJ Lagway? That would have been special.
Well, and that's the thing. So Napier's got this thing turned around, and
Right,
like, hey, we got a quarterback who's going to be here for at least 2 more years.
right,
And hey, you don't know what you're doing.
right.
So come on, Day leaves. It's fair game for anyone.
Right.
And the thing with Ohio State that's different from Florida or Alabama or Michigan, they're not legacy players. They're not
Right.
players who went to Ohio State because they really like Ohio State. The players that went to Ohio State because Ohio State played a bunch of money.
Hmm.
Florida can pay more.
Yeah.
SMU can pay more. Texas
Yeah.
can pay more.
Hmm. Exactly. Um, yeah, yeah. It seems as if Ohio State is between a rock and a hard place because you could tell they want to let they want to let Ryan Day go because he's 1-4 against Michigan. Uh,
He's not just 1-4 against Michigan. He's 1-4 against Michigan. He's 0-2 against Oregon, both in his conference.
mm,
On top of that, he is 2-4 in bowl games, 1-3 in the playoffs. Somebody made the argument that he not only was he born on third base, he's the Mark Richt of the Big Ten.
damn,
oh damn!
damn.
You talk about mediocrity.
Yeah. So you can win a bunch of games, but at Ohio State, no one gives a flying fuck if you beat Minnesota.
Yeah.
Nobody cares that you beat Michigan State. They care about did you beat Michigan? Did you win the Big Ten? Did you win the championship?
Yep.
So, and I did think it was funny going back to the Miami game. Is after the game, they had Kyle McCord out on the podium, and they asked him, "So, with you beating Miami and Ohio State losing to Michigan, what do you feel?" He's like, "It's all come full circle," and then walked off.
Yeah. Who recruited Kyle McCord? Was it Ryan Day?
It was Ryan Day.
And he chose Will Howard over
Well,
Kyle
they
McCord.
no. McCord was blamed in Columbus for their loss last year. Like all the fans
Yeah,
and
that's
the
what it
coaching
was.
staff put it all on McCord. Said it was him. So he was like, "Fuck this, I'm leaving."
That's crazy. That's crazy. So, I ask you this. So with all the games, the rivalry games that happen and the standing of the flag, right? Like,
Thing that's
do
been
you
going on
think
for
that
10
should be
years, but that's okay.
huh?
Keep going.
Right, right, exactly. But my thing is this: do you think that it should be okay? Because I was talking to someone like, if a team wins, let's say if the away team wins, they should have a right. It's kind of like instead of giving them like the President's Cup or some type of like weird thing, allow that team to stake their flag on their field. Like,
No,
hey, you lost. No.
no, fuck no. I don't allow you to stake your flag on my field. Fuck you think this is? Countries have changed
What are you, the
possession
British
over
Empire? What the fuck are you
countries.
doing?
Countries have changed possession over shit like this. There've been entire villages pillaged over shit like this. No, fight me for it. If you can get the flag down while I'm fighting you, go ahead. Last one to cry from the pepper spray wins.
So I want to take this conversation, but I want to back it up a couple weeks. Okay, BJ made a point, but when Ohio State played, I want to say it was Wisconsin at home. I forget who they actually played. At halftime, their band, formed a grizzly bear on the field. Great coordination. Brought out the Michigan flag onto the field and had the bear shit on the Michigan flag. So if you're gonna get pissy that Michigan plants a flag at your 50-yard line, then fine. Don't shit on the goddamn flag to start with. So, but yeah, to your point, you know, this is our house. You know, we're gonna protect it. Now, you protect it by winning the fucking game.
Right.
There's an idea.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I mean, and they got all kinds of pissy, um, ripping the flag down and fighting and all and pepper spray. Now, from what I've read, I don't know how true this is, but from what I've read, it there were a collection of different police departments there that were there.
Yeah, I saw a sheriff and troopers.
Yeah, there was Columbus PD, Franklin County PD, um, the Ohio troopers, and Michigan troopers. Okay, it was all there. From what I've read, it was only the Ohio State troopers that were pepper spraying people. So take that for what you will. But yeah, but it wasn't just there that they were doing that. They did it in the Florida State game, and they got all pissy there. Um, I think they tried to do it at the Texas A&M game, but A&M doesn't like know what to do with the flag, so they just kind of let it be. So, I mean, there's two sides of it. You don't want them to do that, then win the game. On the flip side, you know, hey, look, this is our field. Don't do anything to our field. But I believe it was Florida State last year that tried to dig up Ben Hill Griffin Stadium when they beat Florida.
Oh wow.
So
They did. No, they have a sod cemetery back on campus.
so fuck them. I mean,
Yeah,
what's good for the goose is good for the gander, guys.
I don't understand what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Like, what are we crying about?
Again,
Kids these days, I tell you.
well, what's really funny is I don't think I mean, the kids on the field, while that was escalated, I don't think it was uncalled for. It was all the announcers and the crunching of people going, oh, this can't be. What I thought was really funny was you had Fox for the Michigan game, you know, going, oh, you don't want to see this, you don't like to see this, you know, this is a part of the game, but the cameras wouldn't turn away, and the announcer just kind of like backed up and just let the fight play out.
Controversy sells, man.
Yeah. So we've talked about Ohio State. We've talked about Miami pooping the bed. The other team that Clemson over the weekend is, well, Clemson.
Well, they were playing one of the better defenses in all of college football.
True. But Clemson, with a win, was probably in the playoff. As of right now, I think they're on the outside looking in. I have the rankings up. I don't have it in front of me. But
So
Garbage.
pretty much, if Clemson's win, they're in. But if they don't, then they're going to a bowl game.
yeah.
See, that's ooh, it's now. Now I know I've been talking about SMU for a couple of weeks, man. SMU is legit. Their quarterback is nice. They got speedy receivers, like, and their the defense, especially their linebackers, like they're sound, man. Like, so I'm not shocked that that SMU is in the ACC championship.
Well, okay, so they're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and a lot of the boosters went, "Oh, we can legally play plays now. We've done this in the past, but we had to hide it. Fuck that!
Right.
Now we can do it now in the open now."
Right,
Now the
exactly.
program shut down because they were doing it. Now it's like, screw it.
Right, exactly. So the route that they're going, man, SMU, it's going to be SMU's conference to lose the ACC because they got that oil money, man. That's their oil money, so they can get players preventing. Don't go to Texas. Come to us.
Yeah.
We'll pay you. What do you want? We got just as much money as Texas do.
Well, so I mean, in all fairness, if I'm a recruit in the state of Texas, okay, I have several different options. Obviously, Texas. Obviously, another SEC school, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, that I can go to. Or I can go to SMU, for probably the same amount of NIL money and be in a weaker conference.
Mm.
So, and if you're a star quarterback, and again, if you're not a legacy guy, if you're not a guy that goes, well, I have to go play for Texas because my dad did and my granddad did, like if you're just like, I'm just going to play football, and all of these places can pay pretty much the same amount, but I can go over there, and my chances of making the playoffs and getting a higher spotlight are easier because instead of going against Texas and Alabama and Georgia and Tennessee every week, fuck, I gotta beat Florida State and Boston College. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So now I will say this: that Georgia just missed on being included on the shit in the bed teams.
Oh yeah.
Just missed.
Just missed.
Yeah.
And
I
knew
am.
it. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I knew as soon as Georgia Tech fumbled it with about 2 minutes to go, the game was over. I know it went 8 overtimes after that, but I'm like, you lost your chance.
Yeah. Um, so would you say so Georgia Tech has some playmakers on the outside. Um, and I believe if Georgia was able to have a quarterback to get the ball down the field, they would have kept that lead in the fourth quarter and they would have won the game. I don't know if I think his name is it his name Haynes King? Is that his name?
Haynes
The
King
quarterback?
is the quarterback for Tech, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess he has that Chad Pennington arm to where he everything is short. Like I mean it works with their offense, but I haven't seen him throw over 25 yards this season.
I mean, it works for him. Now,
Yeah.
again, you need to be able to stretch the field, but
Yeah.
it was working. And like I said, had he not fumbled the ball, that game is theirs.
Mm.
Because they had the ball at the 2 minute warning. It was like 1st and 10. And the way they were running it, Georgia couldn't stop him.
Mhm.
And he just got hit just right, fumbled it, Georgia recovered, and 8 overtimes later, Georgia wins. Now, I'm going to ask you guys this: what are your thoughts on the penalty kick overtime rule? Like after the second overtime, it's just 2 point conversions back and forth.
I don't mind that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like
I
it.
mean, otherwise it'll just go on forever.
Yeah,
Right.
and we've seen it do that. We've seen it like
Yeah.
I think it's Texas A&M and LSU where
Yeah.
we're not
74, 70 something or
yeah, and these kids are just gassed.
yeah, this isn't baseball.
Yeah.
Most of them aren't standing around spitting shit for 3 hours. I have to let you know because it's not going to happen. I am one Contavious Caldwell Pope steal away from $60. Son of a
Nice.
bitch.
Well, it's not going to happen because I don't think he's playing. Because the last I checked, they were down by like 30.
Oh, they're down by 18 now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they cooked it back, but with him on the bench.
Yeah, and game's over.
Thank you, Adam. I didn't need the narration.
No, no, it literally just went over like as I was checking the score.
I know.
yeah.
Son of a bitch. One steal. That's all he had to do. That's what they brought him here for. Is
Yeah.
to do a little bit of that and hit threes.
So now I think like they had to not lose by 36 to make the
They were down by
quarterfinals.
38 at one point.
I was like, they may not make it.
Way to stay on national TV, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Because this is the game they flexed. This was not supposed to be on national television. So,
Great branding.
yeah.
That
Okay.
sucks.
So I want to move to our power rankings. And I want to talk about the playoff rankings first. Okay. So they just released the next round of the college football rankings and the projected teams into the playoffs. Okay. So I want to make sure that everyone is aware that the 4 buys, because there's 12 spots, those 4 buys, go to the top 4 ranked conference winners. So just because you're in the top 4 does not mean you get a bye. You have to win your conference to get a bye. Okay. So I say that to say this: the top 5 teams for the college football power playoff rankings. Number 1 is Oregon. Number 2 is Texas. Number 3 is Penn State. Number 4 is Notre Dame. Number 5 is Georgia. Okay. Notre Dame, while they're number 4 in the rankings, does not qualify for a bye because they do not have a conference championship.
I love it. I just got a chub about it. Keep your priests away from me.
So I figured, BJ, that you would appreciate that.
I do appreciate that.
So
do you think that's going to propel Notre Dame to join a conference?
No, they'll just whine about it for a few years.
yeah, I would say this: that if this is the only year that happens, no. If it's a perpetual problem, yes. So, but BJ, who's your number 1 team as of right
Oregon. Oregon. And we're just doing rankings, correct? Just
Correct.
To be clear, okay.
Yep. Dorian, who's your number 1 team?
Oh, gotta be the Ducks.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like it's their national championship to lose.
I have a feeling they might lose it, but that's okay. BJ, who's your number 2 team?
Texas.
Dorian?
Longhorns, baby.
Yep. That's who I'm going with as well. Okay, and this is where it gets fun. Who is your number 3 team, BJ?
Georgia.
Dorian?
I'm going to say Notre Dame.
So now the topic has come up that Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame could go back to Ohio State because he's an Ohio State alum.
Oh, that'd be better for you guys.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay,
Better for
sure.
Michigan. More mediocrity.
I'm fine with that.
He's not going back. I don't see him going back.
Well, and again, we always ask the question: if you get rid of who you have, who are you getting?
Well, I'm willing to bet that the academic requirements are lower at Ohio State.
Yes.
There you go. There's a reason to go back.
But yeah, if they let Ryan Day go now or after the playoff, who are you getting? Because Day is 66-10, and they're looking to fire his ass. Who's going to want that job?
Where's Ron Zook?
Can we get Will Muschamp to coach Ohio State?
Probably good.
So, I'm going Georgia as well.
Willie Taggart.
Yes, it's Willie with 2 L's.
Mm-hmm.
BJ number 4.
I do have to say I don't know Willie without 2 L's. Tennessee, the bias is strong.
Dorian number 4.
Georgia.
I'm putting Penn State here.
I'll allow Penn State to be 5.
Dorian?
I'm going to do Tennessee.
I'm putting SMU at 5. BJ number 6.
SMU.
Dorian number 6.
Number 6, I'm going to do. I think I choose. Let's do SMU.
I'm putting Notre Dame at 6. Number 7.
Notre Dame, I guess. Begrudgingly.
And Dorian number 7.
Number 7, Ohio State.
I've got Tennessee at 7. BJ number 8.
Ohio State.
Dorian.
I'm going to do Penn State.
Yeah, I got Ohio State at 8. Number 9.
Boise State.
Dorian, number 9.
Number 9, I'm going to do the same Boise State.
I've got Alabama at 9. AJ number 10.
Bama.
Dorian.
I'm going with. Mm, that's tough. I'm gonna go with Indiana.
I just keep thinking of what Ohio State did to Indiana and then what Ohio State couldn't do to Michigan. I'm like, I don't know. The first team Indiana plays, and they get popped.
Yeah, and the thing with the Indiana game, so I did Boise at 10. The thing with the Indiana Ohio State game is Indiana kind of played them even, except for 3 boneheaded plays because they were not ready for prime time. Now, what happens in the playoffs? Probably the same because I don't think the players are quite ready for it yet because it's a big stage. Those lights are bright.
I win. Google me.
Yeah. And so, and BJ, you had something is Signetti and Dion, basically the same guy, basically the same attitude. However, one catches a crap ton of shit, one does not.
I still think it's because Dion ruined people's professional teams when he was playing football, and they've hated him since then.
That's fair.
I think that's a fair amount of it, along with some other things I would imagine, because I understand the makeup of this country. But yeah, I mean, he made it to where you couldn't throw to a third of the field.
Hmm.
Limiting your offense.
And that hurts.
Oh yeah.
And so we'll get to our picks. It is championship week, so the games that we have are the ranked matchups for the conference championships. And there's 5. There's the Mountain West, the Pac-12, the Mountain West, the Big 12, the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 10. So we'll start out west with the Mountain West. Boise is a 3.5-point favorite over UNLV, and you'll notice the theme with the spreads, they're all close.
I just think it would be funny after all this Boise State hype that UNLV beats them. I think that'd be hilarious. I'm not sure that's going to be the case, though. I'm going to go Boise State.
And Dorian?
Is as I think about this game, I think GNT is gonna have probably high hundreds, 200-yard rushing. So I'm going with Boise.
So it does give me pause that UNLV is one of the top rush defenses in the nation, top 15 in terms of rushing yards per game, and that's all Boise has. I think they have just enough to win by a touchdown, which beats the 3.5-point spread. So the game that only matters because it is a spot in the playoffs.
Who gives a shit?
Iowa State versus Arizona State. Arizona State's a 2.5-point favorite.
You pick it for me. Just whatever you stop on.
Okay.
Arizona State. That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
They spiked the trident. I like the attitude. That's what I'm going with.
Dorian?
I'm going with Scatterbo Scatterbo, I think his name, and the Arizona State Seminoles.
I'm going Arizona State because every time I look at Iowa State for betting purposes or just, hey, this game would be really good, they would shit themselves. So I'm going Arizona State. Okay. Penn State versus Oregon in the Big Ten title game.
Oregon.
Yeah, the Mighty Ducks.
So James Franklin still coaches for Penn State, correct?
Yeah. Y'all let a Pac-12 team come into your conference and put the big meat on you.
Hey, it is interesting though. Okay, so we've had these conversations for decades, and more so the past couple of years, about well, the Pac-12 is soft, the Big 12 is soft, the Big 10 and the SEC, well, they're strong conferences. So Oregon goes from the Pac-12 to the Big 10, dominates, goes undefeated, goes to the conference championship, and I am picking them to beat the spread. Texas goes from the Big 12 to the SEC and makes the championship game.
Yes, but you missed a word there. You didn't
Undefeated?
say no, dominate. They
Okay,
didn't dominate. They haven't fucking played anybody.
that's fair.
Yeah, we're still waiting for them to play an SEC schedule.
Okay.
Who'd they play? Alabama?
I don't think they played Alabama. I think they played Florida, Georgia. And
They played pre-resurrection Florida.
yeah. Yeah, so Texas's schedule was Michigan before, without Ryan Day coaching against them. Oklahoma, who is a dumpster fire. Georgia and lost. Vanderbilt, Florida, and Texas A&M.
Yeah, and they are going to play a strong SEC schedule next year.
Nope.
So 2 years from now, we'll see what Texas has got going on. They get to do little funny things right now.
So I do want to say something about Oregon while I'm thinking about it before we move too far on. So Brett Venables was the defensive coordinator for Clemson when their defense was amazing. Okay. I can't think of a player that was drafted from the Clemson defense that has been successful in the NFL.
Christian Wilkins.
Okay, thank you. Venables was notorious for stealing other teams' signs. Right, wrong, and different. I mean, it was known that he did it. Okay? Goes to Oklahoma, and now there's no signs to steal because the communications in the helmet, and his defense is trash. Is there a correlation there, or am I just reaching?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's more Clemson players that were good in the NFL than just that list. Just Christian Watson. They got some linebackers that have contributed.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't know if you're reaching. The sign stealing thing is obviously a thing. You would know.
Eh?
Yeah, I don't know. I never liked Venables. Not a fan.
So, but speaking of Clemson,
SMU. Dabo backtrack on, but we're going to be big players in the NIL. Oh, really? That's not what it sounded like for years.
Dorian,
I'm going SMU.
I can't get over Clemsoning again. I just can't. So I'm going SMU. Okay. The other big one, Georgia versus Texas.
Why'd you save it for last?
Because I've been saving like the bigger games for our last.
I just wanted you to say it. That's all.
Okay, that's fair.
Feels better.
So when they played earlier in the season, Georgia dominated the first half. It was in Austin too. Texas is still a 2.5-point favorite. DJ.
I'm saying Georgia. I feel like they gelled in that comeback victory this weekend.
Dorian.
I'm going Texas.
I struggled with this. I really did. I'm also struggling with just which Carson Beck is going to show up. So I'm going Texas. So, and one little fun nugget before we sign off from the college football segment, there has been one player that was part of the Ohio State recruiting class of 2021 that has beaten Michigan. Quinn Ewers from Texas.
Ah, right.
So, with that, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back with the NFL.